Okay, abusua be mama kwa ba sonko so edeba Ghana Politics Avenue. So abusua yembonra yensemu enim guase aka AfenyoMarkin speaker Bagbin alash no asan so schoolino with wisdom ene asem keto akra no o disgrace no in front of BaffoeBonnie ni padom no just say so in BaffoeBonnie and speaker Bagbin AfenyoMarkin sa na den e ma sansem we nyina e ba AfenyoMarkin nsem bia odi tudwa or chese ono as minority leader na amanfo ekase o kasa bebre na onye the right na ensem bia on serve as leader in parliament or chese or share during a speaker Bagbin time as minority leader on the so and a washer or disuanium and away and a speaker Bagbin say AfenyoMarkin ne ye bia or in the parliament no ono no wanye bida during his time as minority leader intino onye obi a AfenyoMarkin so ono ade ne problems enam dada ono AfenyoMarkin no enka eni kwan kura say enka obeye minority leader mom yanko na yankonkoti unsubscribe ya subscribe like na share ma afofron so ensa into me enka bi Ghana Politics Avenue. So madam I say
what the minority leader is doing now is not what I did. He has copiously referred to you people that he took inspiration from my record. Please go and read my record. I never on the floor raised my voice. I never on the floor tried to show grandeur. No. I studied the ecology, the political environment. I tested the pulse of the people, and you play along that. I didn't do what you are doing. Please, anybody can go and read. Only one occasion when the Right Honorable Peter Lajeti came and read a statement attacking me personally, that I rose up to say my side of the story, and he will not allow me to do so. My very good friend Papa Akroma, who was the majority leader then, stood up and said, once he mentioned me specifically, by our standing orders, I have the right of reply. And he shouted at him and prevented him and ordered him to sit down. And that day, I took my books and stormed to my office. My colleagues did not follow me. They continued with the work of Parliament. It was in my office that the then few cameras, led by GTV, questioned why I moved out. And I gave them my side of the story. I said, if this is how the speaker was going to go about things on the floor of Parliament, I will go after him. That caught the attention of the whole nation. That is the only instant. And later on I met him and narrated that he accused me with a basis. They pleaded on me to rather tone down my response, which was meaningless. It's also captured in the official report. I'm saying this because this has been referred to many times by many people, that I behaved the same way when I was minority leader. If I did, we could have turned things around within 2 years, and we almost won the 2004 elections. And these young MPs, the Minister for Education and his team, joined us in 2005. Please, the opportunity is now, and that is why I'm saying this.
This is a story, untold story, of individuals like Rhoda, who, despite being HIV positive, bravely navigate a society that often shuns and ostracizes those living with the virus. Health correspondent Sarah Penkro has more in this report.
Rhoda's life changed forever when she received the devastating diagnosis. The stigma, fear, and uncertainty about what lay ahead were overwhelming.
When I went to that facility, the nurse who saw my reports went to my school to tell a colleague teacher to be careful about me and that I am HIV positive. So when I come back to the school, they shouldn't get closer to me. They shouldn't allow the students to get close to me. But this lady, I always appreciate her a lot. She's called Madam Grace. The lady kept this to herself. And because of even what the guy told her, she decided to be more close to me. It was just recent, last year, that she disclosed this to me.
The fear of being ostracized by her loved ones kept her silent. But she found love, and together with her husband, they welcomed children who are not carriers of the virus.
I remember when I got married and I got pregnant with my first child, I went to a certain facility to seek for my ANC, and the very first day I got to the facility, 2 nurses were there having a discussion, and the discussion was around a person who just came there and tested positive to HIV, and they were discussing the person's subject. I was able to identify whom they were talking about, because one was directing the friend to where the person stays and another thing. And since we were in the same community, I was able to trace to see the person they were talking about. So I was like, wow, I'm also positive. So what will be my stand after they get to know of my status as well? Meaning they are going to discuss me and who will be the next person to hear about my story. So I left the facility. I decided not to come to the antenatal at all. But on the day of my delivery, I gave them my prophylaxis to be given to my child because I was due for delivery, and then I knew they have to give the prophylaxis to the child. Immediately, the baby comes out. The moment I gave this to the woman, her attitude towards me changed. She now became cold. She wasn't responding to me. So when I started having the contractions and was crying for help, she wasn't coming to me. But lo and behold, there were some student nurses at the facility, and one of them was coming to me. The woman, when I was even, the baby's head was coming out. I felt it, I held it, and saw that the head was coming out. I shouted to them that the baby is coming. She said I should shut up and be there. Which baby is coming? HIV nipa so. Obatete ye wahase. Yobedi wachi sabe de say be hwe no anhwe po no bi anya bi mo kwone ho am. And I was scared. I was crying.
Rhoda's story is not unique. Thousands of Ghanaians live with HIV silently, battling stigma and fear. Despite the progress made in Ghana's fight against HIV, stigma remains a significant barrier. Many still view HIV as a moral issue rather than a health condition.
We recognize that one of the biggest barriers to the stigma is even among the health workers who are supposed to provide care to HIV clients. They themselves stigmatize the clients. And so as charity begins at home, we have come up with some training package for healthcare workers. And we have also engaged with other partners like the Nurses and Midwifery Council. And they are now trying to include a course on stigma in their curriculum.
The Ghana AIDS Commission estimates that about 334,000 people are living with HIV in the country. However, only about 151,000 are on treatment, highlighting the need for more support and acceptance. Rhoda has become an advocate for HIV awareness, sharing her story to break the stigma.
I really felt that day that we really need to talk. We really need our voices to be heard, because we can easily die just because of how people perceive persons living with HIV.
As Ghana strives to end AIDS by 2030, it is crucial to address the stigma and discrimination that hinder progress. And yet, the Ghana AIDS Commission appears handicapped with lack of resources to intensify and sustain awareness creation.
We need the resources. We want to end AIDS by 2030. Without a dedicated fund to support all the innovations, all the other interventions, there's no way we'll be able to achieve that result.
It is important to create a society where persons living with HIV feel valued, supported, and empowered to live their lives without fear. Sarah Penkro, TV3 News, Accra.
And you're watching News Central live on TV3. I'm Kamini Amano. Now, a major sanitation and security concern has taken over the Aayalolo bus station at the Kimbu terminal for almost 10 months now. A group of men claiming to represent the Accra Metropolitan Assembly have occupied sections of the station. Station authorities say repeated attempts to seek clarification from the AMA have yielded no response. Daryl Agbojo visited the terminal and filed this report.
Officials recall 10 months ago, some individuals arrived claiming to be assigned by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly to manage portions of the station's operations. The activities have since attracted kayaye, junkies and drug addicts who are now occupying part of the station to help workers offload goods from Togo.
About 10 months ago, when the NDC, new NDC, now coming again, the party boys going around, whatever they see that, okay, this place is an institution or it's an organization, who previous government, they have been using their people, they'll just take you or chase you out, then they took over. The same thing happened in Aayalolo terminal here. So when they took over, I put some of them, asked them, you people, where do you come in from? Formally, they say they have been empowered by AMA boss. Later on, they say, okay, they are empowered by assemblyman of this area.
The area has become dirty, with some individuals sleeping, bathing and attending nature's call openly around the facility. The situation has also led to a rise in theft, which station officials and drivers say is directly linked to the presence of these unauthorized occupants.
Because of the Togo loads that they were brought to the yard, that brings all these junkie boys and the weed smokers to this yard. And as we are speaking now, you see the dirty, the mess up, they eat themselves, sleep here, stealing, smoking weed, even up to the extent that some of them sleeping with women in the yard, inside the yard here. Our problem is how this business is going on is affecting our daily goods operations. So we are reading that all this Togo business and all that should be ended for us to get our smooth operation for BRT Aayalolo, because the yard is purposely for Aayalolo.
During a visit by the news team, a driver at the station, Ufosu Francis, reported his mobile phone missing, blaming the growing presence of suspected drug addicts around the station.
Akroma no mu disturb we are too much. And now drivers and conductors what do front to here you dimbe seconds.
The thieves really disturb us a lot. If you leave something there, you won't come back to meet it. I went to forward the bus after my return from Kaswa. Upon my return, I decided to go and eat. Within some few minutes of going to get food, someone got into the bus and stole my belongings.
Authorities at the bus terminal are calling on the Accra Metropolitan Assembly to state their position on the matter and take decisive action to restore order and sanitation at the facility. Now, for many children in Ghana, burn injuries are a common occurrence, often due to unsafe living conditions, a lack of awareness, and inadequate supervision. The Kolebu Teaching Hospital alone records over 1,000 cases of childhood burns yearly, highlighting the need to reduce the incident and ensure that survivors receive the care and support they need to thrive. Sarah Penkro has more in this report.
In Ghana, childhood burn injuries are a harsh reality that many young lives have to endure. Children under 5 years account for majority of all burns, with majority of the cases being hot water burns. For 4-year-old Enoch, a cooking accident turned his life upside down. He accidentally fell off a chair after losing balance and landed into his mother's hot pot of palm nut soup on fire, severely burning parts of his body. The pain he has gone through on his journey to recovery for the past 1 year, according to his mother, cannot be described. 2 weeks ago, he had a surgery on his right arm.
December, now I'm so need to work kitchen captain. And I'll cut Kunya.
It happened on the 7th of December, and it hasn't been easy since. We are hopeful he will get better.
Since the incident, her livelihood as a petty trader has been affected, while the cost of treatment overwhelmed the family.
It is not easy. I'm in constant debt. The insurance doesn't do much. It's been difficult.
Hospital cover
Safwa Ampon is a deputy chief nursing officer at the burns unit of the Kolebu Teaching Hospital and spoke about burns involving children.
I always say negligence on the part of the parents, because no mother brings a child to the department and say, I was there when it happened. They are always saying that I went somewhere and when I came, my child has went. No mother is, which means our caretakers are not taking good care of our children. And National Health Insurance doesn't take a chunk of the amount. So most of the time, the burden is still on the parents. Like I said, National Health in the burns unit takes care of only accommodation and sanitation. What about the drugs? What about food? And if burns patients are supposed to eat 7 to 9 times a day per our dietitian's plan, how much will it cost a day to even feed a burns patient?
Adults also suffer from burns. Dorothy Kwati, a caterer, suffered from burn injuries while lighting a fire to cook at work using an expired hand.
AfenyoMarkin and Speaker Bagbin, a good anima supporter in easy cry. But I must say, some much a penny cocoa teaser and some way a day. Am I? Aha, a Ghana politics avenue. So, Madam.